So you've read the title of this video and you've clicked on it. Just by doing that, I can probably assume a couple things about you as a person. You're hardworking. You have dreams, goals, aspirations that you want to achieve, and you have them set for yourself to achieve in the future. You're determined. You're willing to put yourself through hard times consistently to achieve these goals, and you have been doing this constantly. You're ambitious. You have set goals which seem really high achieving for who you are right now. You have the hope that your future self will have these traits which will make the achieving of those goals seem more real and close. You've taken action towards achieving these goals through any means. So if you have clicked on this, that's probably what I can assume about you as a person. You're in pursuit of self-improvement. You're in pursuit of these goals. You're being relentless in trying to achieve them. You're inspired by the fear of being average. And what I think a lot of people need to hear at this stage of improvement, especially as things start to get quite slow. Whenever you're starting off, you see progress a lot quicker than it happens as you continue to go on, especially in the gym. You have that 1 to 2 month, 3 month period of you just getting newbie gains. You can literally eat whatever you like and you'll gain muscle. That doesn't translate to someone who's an intermediate lifter. As you probably know, if you've been training for a decent amount of time now, eventually you're going to have to start focusing on your diet, changing what exercises you use, focus on form, stuff like that, alright? And the same somewhat applies to other areas of improvement as well. Eventually, 10 minutes of meditation isn't going to be enough. You'll have to do 15, 20, and even longer if you want to. Eventually, this one business model isn't going to work, so you're going to have to try that one, and then the other, and then the other. But I think a lot of these things boil down to is repetition. And a lot of people need to hear that constantly doing and doing and doing and doing and seeing nothing from it does not mean that that is negative, that it is not going towards something. Because unseen progress is constantly being molded by your repetition. Think of it as like a rock, and you're the sculptor of this rock. And each time you get out of bed early, each time you get a cold shower, each time you do this one habit which works towards the achieving of the bigger thing which you want, you chisel this rock a little bit and a little bit more. And each day, it slowly gets chiseled and chiseled, and over a lifetime, you take a step back, you look at this rock, and you see that you've made this great sculpture. You see that you've made this work of art through these repetitiveness of these habits that you've been doing again and again and again and again. You chiseled this rock through those habits. But we don't see this happening. And that can be really disheartening for a lot of people. I mean, I'm kind of going through this phase right now, with my YouTube channel. I'm not making any money from this, of course. My views aren't great, but I know that it goes towards that chiseling of that rock. It goes towards the bigger reward that I'm going to be having in the future, but I just can't see it yet. And that's what allows me to stay consistent. That proposition of more in the future, which I know is going to happen as long as these traits, consistency, hard work, continue to be in effect. And once you experience enough reward for your hard work, that's when you can become content with being a little more patient with being repetitive in the actions that you're doing, because you first have to experience that initial reward wherever it was. For me, it was the gym. Seeing progress in my physique over time has enabled me to apply that same logic to the YouTube channel. I'm having to go through this latency period of not seeing much. I'm having to go through this little bit of limbo because it's going towards something bigger, but I just don't see it yet. I was looking at some pictures of myself the other day, and the comparison, like, it is so crazy to me, because we kind of settle for our rewards. Eventually things which we gain, we feel good about it for about a week or two maybe, but then things just kind of become our new normal. And I think only through comparison do you really see how much progress you've actually made. Comparison to yourself, that is. And it just takes time for you to really achieve that next level of improvement. In order for you to see this comparison to your past self, it takes a lot of patience, and it's something which needs to be learned quite early. Whoa, new shirt. It's getting hot as hell in my room, so I have to change my shirt. But what I was going to say is, patience is such a virtue. And I know that's so cliche to say, but there's a reason why it's the fundamental to a lot of philosophies. I'm definitely going to make a video on Stoicism in the future, because a lot of the reason why I'm able to think like I do right now is because of Stoic philosophy. And patience is a fundamental core to a lot of that. What you don't have control over, you shouldn't be trying to control, and you should just let go, and you should just focus on what you can control. Yeah, I think just learning patience, applying it, and using it to not let you get super impacted by the lack of progress which you might be having currently right now. A big key takeaway I want you to get from this video is that everything you're doing right now, habit-wise, progress-wise, the things that you're picking up in order to improve yourself, they are all right. You don't have to worry about the morality of these things. You're doing everything right currently, but it's just repetition is brutal, in the sense that you're going to have to continue to do said things while having no positive feedback. And that's what gets a lot of people. That's what has got me for the longest time. I'm in the stage right now. I'm getting little feedback from the channel, other places I'm going as well. Like currently I'm on a bulk, so I'm kind of losing my leanness. But again, I have this understanding that if I do these things, there's a bigger reward for me in the future. And previous experience of these things make me realize that is the truth. So I can apply that same logic to new things which I apply myself in, like this channel, like other things which I might be doing. Yeah, patience, key takeaway from this video. It's super important to apply this, and it is, things aren't always going to work out the way you want them to either. You may set a goal for maybe it's a short-term one, like a week from now or a month from now, and then you actually work really hard to getting it, and you don't. That can be one of the most down feelings you could have from something, when you genuinely work super hard towards something and you don't get it within the time frame which you expected to. That's happened to me multiple times. I once had a lifeguard exam when I was around 16 going into 17, and I went into it super cocky. I was like, I'll pass this easily. I've swam before. I'm not super fussed about being in the water. I have little fear about that stuff. So prior to the exam, I didn't train. I didn't go swimming. I didn't try and recoup my skill, which I thought I had before it. So yeah, I just went into it, and I fell completely behind everyone else. I was lacking in every single area. I was below average on everything. The swimming distance, the jumping in to save people, like the basic cardio, I was behind on all of that. And the guy even said, we have never had anyone who has failed this exam before. I was the first person to fail that exam. And that humbled me. That true failure has given me that same drive to work towards something so hard to where that'll never be an option again. These failures, these setbacks, this lack of progress is all going towards that bigger win. It just takes time. Remember that. It just takes time, okay? So keep going, bro. Stay consistent. You know, hopefully this video can give you that little bit of motivation you might need, or, you know, that put you on that path which you know you should be on, but maybe you are straying a little away from it. Hopefully I can help you, you know, get back onto that stage and that frame of mind, because I know this has helped me, and I'm pretty sure my situation is pretty similar to a lot of other people's, hopefully. So, you know, in knowing that, I'm sure some of this can really apply to some people. So yeah, I don't really have much to say. You know, if you took anything from this, again, please subscribe, like, comment. I'm posting pretty consistently currently. I'm going to keep that up, get some more videos out to you. And yeah, I ain't got much else to say. I'm going to quit my yapping. Strive for greatness, and don't be a vape puffing nerd.